and welcome to our tutorial on the folio for the spring farmhouse. It is, I keep wanting to call it spring market because it reminds me a little bit of Cartabella spring market. I am using the A4 pad. Love the A4 pad. You don't always have to have the 12 by 12. And the nice thing about this is, I want you to see, graphics. Oh, where went my cover? That's okay. The graphics have been pared down, of course, to match. We have so many different things to look at that even though, you know, they don't have an abundance of sheets, but you get 4 of each. So this is what I'm using, and I'm using 8.5 by 11. It's an A4 pad. Love it. I have some 12 by 12s. I know that I'm going to be using some of the alphabet stickers and the ephemera. I'm not sure on the chipboards. We'll see. I have flowers too that will be going on the cover. So let me move this to make room. Our cover, and I've already done some prep work. Let me give you the sizes of chipboard that you need. You need 2 pieces of chipboard that are 7 3/4 by 10. And I'm sorry, I know that, let me bring this up a little bit if I can, because this is a big project, so we need to be able definitely to see. 7 3/4 by 10, and on 7 3/4 by 10 with the pencil, I would recommend that you put a B. This is where this type of a folio accidents can happen, because we accidentally, there's only a 1/2 inch difference. You may put the wrong size, and trust me, been there. Your back cover, it's kind of, I'll show you here on one of our past folios, is 8 1/4 by 10. And I'm going to put an A on my 8 1/4 by 10, 2 of those. The folio is similar to this, where we did at a retreat. Now, these 2 back covers are bigger than this cover. We need that 1/2 inch to fit. So that's just an example. That's not what we're making, but to give you an example why you need the smaller front pieces. Then you need 2 pieces that are 10 inches by 10, or 10 inches by 1/2. You need 2 of those. 10 inches by 1 1/4. And like I said, I did already prepare mine with score tape. You can use your wet adhesive. You can use score tape on the roll. I love to use my score tape sheets. I get complete coverage, and then I also know that it's quick, it's fast, and I don't use up my rolls of score tape, even though this did take 4 sheets of the 8.5 by 11. So to get started, before we attach these, I'm going to take 3, and I'm using the brown artisan cardstock. Different, I know. Coffee needs to go up there. And don't fret. I know you're losing me in some of the camera. There's not a lot I can do when I'm working with 36 inches here because my camera's not wide enough. Right now, I'm just going to lay this out. I want to get an idea, because I know these 2 are, let's call them our back pieces. They were A. And they will be like a normal book. Okay, so these 2 are A, and they're our 1 1/4 inch spine. Then our 1/2 inch comes here. 1/2 inch on the left hand side. Then these are the smaller, and this is what I'm checking for. We are going to need that 4th piece of cardstock. So you will need 4 12 by 12 sheets in order to make it all nice. We'll have some left over that we'll use for the inside, but we're going to start with 4 sheets of our brown cardstock. I am doing some writing as we go. So that I can keep track. People will ask me after, and you know, I always feel bad because I just make projects I don't know. I need to get better at counting what I'm using. So using your adhesive or your score tape, I like to use the art glitter glue. right along that edge. Kind of squished, but it's okay. You won't even see that. I got it too close to the edge is why. So I'm going to stay over just a hair this time. So we're going to have to kind of work our paper. We have this huge long desk, but there's not anything I can do because of the length and the camera. That's better. Okay, so that first piece I did, that's kind of, no, it's not kind of, it is quite a mess. I'm going to make sure that that's going to be like the end. So with our chipboard pieces, very easy to mix them up. We have two B's, we have two A's. And I have to say that because I need to remind myself, trust me. So, my goal here is not one that's going to work too well. I'm going to have the 1 1/4 inch piece on that seam, and it's okay. It will be covered. And I will use my 1/4 inch score tape still as a spacer. Somebody's been in my tape while I was gone. I've now opened a new roll probably in 7 or 8 months. Using the sheets really helps, but a 1/4 inch is what I want between the chipboards. So we have our two A pieces here at the back. Then I'm going to take a 1/2 inch here and a B. Okay, that lays out good. We'll have what's left on the ends, and the two B's are on your left and right end. Then you have 1/2 inch in between there. Then you have A's and a 1 1/4. We're going to start with the 1 1/4. I want to kind of keep things here. There. No matter how long your desk is, it's still not long enough. Once we get this done, though, it'll be much easier when it's folded. So this is where I had to piece them apart from my sheet. There we go. And I'll use my quilt ruler because I want an inch at the top and I like an inch at the bottom. And the quilt ruler is awesome for that, or you can mark your bottom at the end. You can mark an inch at the bottom of your paper, not literally mark your bottom. Okay, but I like the quilt ruler. I can use my forearms, use both hands, and just butt it up on that edge, and we're good. I burnish from the back. 1/4 inch score tape now will go on both sides. With a 1/4 inch, I know I won't have any problems with my cardstock cracking. I mean, you're going to have a little on the seams sometimes. There's nothing you can do when you layer the paper like that. It's not like where the paper, when it's manufactured all in one, you've added. Sometimes that will pop. If it does, you'll see what I mean, but it's nothing terrible. Okay, remember A is a 1/2 inch bigger than B. Now it's going to sit the 1 inch right up next to our 1/4 inch score tape. So now you can add your wet adhesive or your score tape if you're using the roll, or your score tape sheets. My roller down so we're 1 inch from the bottom. I think crafting is the only thing we do where we can use our tool, set it down, and then it's gone. We've lost it the next moment. Even if it's right there next to me, it's going to be gone. I won't see it. Our tools grow legs. Okay, right up next to that chipboard again. Now the 1/2 inch. It's our little guy. And right up next to that tape. Now, if you don't have score tape, or maybe you don't like to use it there, just use your ruler. But please make sure it's a 1/4 inch. I mean, well, it may not work for you, but most people it does. So, but please, if you have your own way is perfect too. Okay, now B. B is going to go right down here. Then we're going to trim this off, and that's going to help us a lot. Give us some room, and we'll turn it to work on the other side. Now I'll use my ruler again, 1 inch, and a knife. Oh, that plate is already out. And just hang on to that. I know, silly, you're not throwing that away. Okay, let's turn. So we have that side done, the A, so we want another A right there. And your ruler, if you're using it, will fit perfect because we did 1 inch at the top and 1 inch at the bottom. And the sheets of score tape, we do sell them at countrycraftcreations.com. They're in with the score tape. We just got another huge shipment in. And I promise, they just make album cover making so much more enjoyable. your hands don't hurt, all that stuff. So let's add our score tape, and then we need a 1/2 inch piece to go down next. Our little spine piece there. And how on earth did I do that? It was off. I don't know. Must not have been paying attention for that second. Wow. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. That was way off. Score tape. And our last bee. Oh, goodness. There we go. And we'll take the excess off down to 1 inch. And now you can see how your cover's going to work. What we want to do first is along these edges. So we've got an extra long piece here. I'm going to move it along here. It's not going to work. That didn't work. So we're going to move some more things here. There we go. One thing, I have this drop off of my mat. You want to be careful with those drop offs. You don't want to go through your paper. Okay, I'm moving the liquids to at an angle, just like a regular album cover. But we just kind of have to go in sections here because it's so long. And I can't really get my bone folder here, and I really like it. So first I'm going to just do my hands, make my creases in the corner. Now I can get to it. So I really like using my bone folder along this edge with the artisan cardstock. Just kind of forms it, tells it where to go. And then here at these ends, see, I'm able to burnish it because I need that square. So let's do that again. Now on the other side. That was a little better. Now I'm going to go out of camera, but I'm just doing the same thing, pushing along this edge as we go. Okay, now we can do those shorter ends. You'll have to open that up if you did the burnishing. So again, I'm just going to let that fall. You're big. It's going to be fun. Okay, now you'll see if you did the burnishing or you fold it even with your hands, you're going to end up with these squares. And those I'm going to cut out. I cut right to that chipboard and over, almost like a box. Because when you think about it, you don't have holes on your boxes. So when you do this, you won't have holes on your chipboard either anymore, where you're seeing chipboard and it's cut too short. And you don't even need a tool. That's why I like it. Because, like I mentioned before, I lose tools. And I don't like to have to constantly get out a tool. That's me. But you do what's comfortable for you. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim these edges too. So I'm going to fold the short end first, using my scissors against this chipboard. If you notice, I can't go anywhere. Only thing I can do is kind of pivot. And that's what I want, because if you use the chipboard, you can't go any further than the chipboard. Therefore, you won't cut your corners too short. But you'll see if anything's sticking out on that edge, and see it'll trim right off for you. So now I'm going to fold down the short side and get these ends. And if you do this all now, it's just really helpful than when you're putting it together. So fold it down gently. Yeah, let's see what fell. Oh. Goes to my trimmer. And I don't want to lose that, because that would be the ideal thing that Wilbur would love to chew up. Okay. Now, first thing I'm going to do is remove the backing. And then I'm going to use a combination of our score tape and art glitter glue. Actually, I'm debating. No, I'm going to. I have some 5/8 of an inch that we brought in that works really well. And I'm just going to go across the top. I'm not going to be putting it on the chipboard. This 5/8 of an inch fits really nice, and it takes care of the coverage that I need. So I'm just going to go along the cardstock. You can do both, and you can use any size you like. The outcome will still be the same. And it looks like I'm going to have to use a combination. That's now gone. Boy, that went far though. And then I'll use my 3/8. So you can kind of see next to each other the size difference. But we'll still be okay. I don't feel I need any more adhesive on the chipboard, except for the art glitter glue that I'm going to use. I'm just burnishing down the score tape. And then let's get our score tape backing off. We're just going to remove the covering to it. And this is where I use the art glitter glue along the top of the chipboard. I'm going right up against it. Then with a bone folder for your hands, either will work. I'm going to squish that glue and you'll see it go right up on your chipboard. Also going to soften the fibers in your paper. So when we fold it over, it'll make it so much simpler. So now you'll be able to just fold that over. Pretty much if you kind of scored across the top, it's going to know its place. And then it's just going to be there and be where it belongs. So I lucked out. None of these connectors pop. Sometimes they will, so I'm really happy they didn't. Sorry, I just need to move that tape. Everything's falling. Okay. We're going to repeat now along the edge of the chipboard on the other long side. I have a little tiny pop right there. You really can't see it. And that's really well. I mean, if it bugs you, just grab a file. I mean, it's just going to be like I call them paper hangnails. Now, before I put my sides down, I want to check that everything's fitting nicely on the edges, and they are. Down goes the art glitter glue. Check some wipes out to dry. I have this funny feeling. I didn't notice they were gone. I have a funny feeling somebody in my family named Wilbur may have eaten them. That just occurred to me. You know how that's funny when you're working and it's all of a sudden ding? Where are my dry diaper wipes? I'll bet he did while I was on that little weekend vacation. Yay, we did it. We got that part done. Hardest part. Okay. Let's go ahead and start here. Of course, I need to start this way. Sorry. We're going to start at this end. Now you have two edges of chipboard. So we need to get that paper burnished on both sides of that chipboard. See? Or it's going to try and bubble up. I don't know if you can tell. But you want to now push it down. And if you've used score tape, you have an added benefit because it's going to grab a hold of that score tape. And it's going to be so nice. And we can lay that completely over. Back where you want to see better. I like to lay mine over and just give a little bit of a burnish on the edge. You don't have to. Preference. And I'm going to do that side and then this side. And you'll see how nice it looks. There's no wrinkling of the paper. It just sticks down to that score tape. Now we want to bend that, creating our squares, sides. Move to this one. And then the top, just smooth that right out, depending on your cardstock. Smooth that one out. There we go. Now this side. So I'm just opening there. Make it look a little flatter. Now this side. Have a, I don't know what happened. Straighten this out. Well, that looks much better. Then our large magnets, that's what's going to hold those nice and tight together. And so we want to put our magnets on now. And I'll tell you what, for this bigger album, I think I used 3. No, I did use 4. So I'm going to use 4 again. So if you want to use 4 magnets, now you can also put a ribbon on here and it can tie. So let me show you that. A lot of different closures to this, but I'm going to use the magnets, and because it's bigger, it's going to take 2 sets. Otherwise, you can actually do a ribbon on the front and back cover that comes around here. You can also do a tie on these 2 and have it come together. It might be a little harder to tie, but you still can, it's still workable. No, I take that back. I am going to use 4 full sets. And I'm using the basic gray magnets that we sell at Country Craft Creations because I'm able to get them directly from the owner of Basic Gray. He's still around, but you can see from the size of this album why we need the 4 sets. And the thing is, you want an album like this. It's going to be, this is definitely one that you can turn into an heirloom of recipes and things that the kids in the family might want to keep, or that you want to keep, basically. So I'm going to offset them a little bit. Now remember, you don't have to use magnets. You can use your ribbons. Ribbon. Main thing is keeping magnets away from the edge. You want plenty of room for your paper to cover them. This is a nice thick heavy paper, so you won't have any problems. In a little. You probably could get by with 3 sets, to be honest with you. But I'm an overdoer. Okay. Before we get these guys together, we want to put our book somewhat together so that it's even in the front. And we can always move our magnets, though. That grabbed a hold nicely. Oh, we lost one. We didn't get one down. So let's do this again. Okay, there we go. Just slide it across. And then because they are so big, and I can't put a piece of paper there right now because we're going to be opening and closing it, I'm just going to put a piece of the score tape on top. We'll remove it when we mat. Because we, of course, want to take that cover off. There we go. So now I know it's going to be a nice strong hold. And we want to now add our cardstock to the inside. So our album is 10 inches, and I'm going to start with, I'll give you an idea here. Okay, we have these guys that are extra. One, I'm sure it's going to take 3. Oh, we're going to do it great with 3. So you need 3 more sheets. And we're going to cut these down to 9 7/8. Okay, so we won't use those. 9 7/8. And I'll be using 4 tape sheets. And I'll have to fill in, excuse me, I'll just fill in a little bit with my roll of score tape. So I just took the backing off. Once you get used to working with these, you'll love them. I do want to get them close to the edge, but I don't want anything to hang over because I just don't want to have to cut it. Here we go. Don't worry about your sheet wrinkling either because it spreads out. Remember, once you take this cover off, it's just that really thin score tape. Well, I should have grabbed that too. Come with the 3/8. That's what I had. So I'll just fill in these area. I don't have to fill it in all the way. working. One thing, just keep your fingers back there till you're ready to put it down. There's that piece of tape. Don't want any bumps under there. And we need one more. So if you're nervous about removing your score tape, just remove a corner. I used to teach this early on. Even with just your score tape, if you're nervous about it, make sure that's down. It moved a little. And there you go. But I will need to trim just a little bit up here because it slipped. Okay, grab your books. And basically, I'll kind of do that. Looks like I'm going to be overlapping. Before you put yours down. Looks like we're going to overlap just barely. And I'm going to bring it in almost, not quite a quarter of an inch, 3/8 of an inch from the edge. And it's okay because we're going to cover it, but yeah, we're going to come in a little more on this edge, which is fine here, about 1/2 inch, in order to not have to use another sheet of paper, which I don't want to do. I don't want to piece it. So I'm going to grab the ruler. Just going to do a 1/2 inch mark to make sure I put it where it belongs, which is right there. It's hard to see. I'm going to have to add a piece of tape right there. Okay, this is just 1/8 of an inch. So you have a 1/16 of an inch at the top, a 1/16 of an inch at the bottom. And then you're going to have about, well, the 1/2 inch from the end. I'll cover that pencil mark just a hair. Once you're comfortable, just put it down. We're going to be covering all the way to the edge with our cardstock when we make our folio, so that wasn't even a concern. Make sure that's all down. And I think what I'm going to do, let me lay this one down 1/2 inch just to double check. Okay, we're good. But I am going down here to the left edge. I'm going to do the same thing. Just to make sure. Okay, the floor is a good place for that tonight. Everything's ending up on the floor. Actually, my husband put hooks up along my work table here so I can hang my rulers and a few other things so that they're not right here in my work spot, which is nice, but I can never hit the nail or the screw. Any tape that got over the edge, just push it back. And then we have the 1/2 inch right there. About 1/16 at the top, 1/16 at the bottom inch. This little border around there, which you're not going to really see anyway. And we're down. Now on to the center. Over the top there. Okay, we're just going to overlap it from the center, both sides, matching the seams. Keeping my fingers back there till I'm ready, and down it goes. Now we need to reform our creases again. I'm going to do the same thing going back and forth on my chipboard. One edge and then the other edge. I like to use my inexpensive Fiskars because I know it's not sharp anywhere and it has that rounded bottom. You can just pick these up at Hobby Lobby or Joann's. I'm not sure about Hobby Lobby and Joann's. But you know what? I'll be honest with you. I was in Hobby Lobby and Joann's today. Wow. They are going more home decorating for sure, and a lot less in their crafting area. Okay. Now it's going to be a little tougher, but see how nice that forms when you're using score tape there. Be gentle at first on these 1/2 inches because they're kind of hard to form. Ooh, oh, no, I didn't. Whoa, I thought I did. Let me turn it this way. Half inches get tight. I don't want to mess with that anymore. Okay, I think we're good. Center. Now, if I had gone all the way through this, I would have taken these scraps and cut it down, and I would have score taped the complete back and added a new layer there. So that kind of hit me that maybe you were wondering what would I do if I had gone through there, and that's what I would have done. I've done it many a times, and it's just fine. I prefer not to do it. I like to be careful, but and it's happened. It used to happen all the time when I used the paper out of, you know, the big box stores. It would happen all the time. Sorry. And there we have our cover. Yay, the hardest part of this whole thing is done. Nice big size, so it's going to be really fun to work with. So that is the tutorial for the cover of our album. And I'm going to break this tutorial down so it'll be cover, and then it'll be the making of the insides and the matting. But before I do that, I'm going to mat. I want to mat this outside cover. So I'm going to grab my 8.5 by 11 paper, which is going to fit great. And we're going to put our cover on. So I'm kind of just doing everything right here with you, even making decisions. Oh, I hate making decisions. Because I want a little quieter background. I think that the nice thing is we've got 4 pieces, so I'm going to do front. Oh, the bunnies are just so killer. I'll do the smaller ones for the back. And then on our sides, isn't that just beautiful? Even that. Here's the beauty of this. I can basically use that for the cover and not have to worry now about cutting into it because the way the 8.5 by 11 is, I just love it. So, okay, let's go with this. So this is 10 inches. All I need to do is cut this length down. I'm going to cut it down to 9 7/8. That leaves me with this piece, and then I have a perfect fit. I'm going to do actually the sides with the hearts, or the smaller hearts. Let's do the smaller. So now my back will be the bigger hearts. I just need to cut it to 9 7/8. And I'll cut this 9 7/8. I'm going to have to use my smaller cutter. Isn't that great? And I want to use the Prima Sepia. Actually, this is a brand new one. I haven't had to open a brand new one in a long time. In fact, I've been re-inking it, but it's like the pad is like crying. It says, it's time, it's time. So let me get a new sponge. We'll get those inks. Sepia, walnut, you can use chocolates. There's, gosh, a lot of colors that will go great. First, I need to go ahead and cut our pieces down. So the spine is 1 1/4. Sorry for the noise. And I am going to start out with 1 1/4. Because of those 1/2 inches that we put, you'll find a lot of times, there we go. See, the actual size will fit. And then we need 1/2 inch for the 2 front pieces. Now those aren't, I thought those were hearts. They're not. They are polka dots. No, there are hearts in the center. So I don't know if we'll be lucky enough to. This one I did. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut another 1/2 inch and then another. I want to get the hearts in there. And the next piece will have hearts. I know I'm wasting paper. There we go. Now we have 2 with the hearts. We can use that for borders. So let's see how this looks. So you have to have those hearts there. And the hearts will be what show on the outside. Very cute. I'm happy with it. Really, really pleased with this paper. It's just adorable. Yeah, I think that has to be the back. That has to be the back. Mind change, I know. I'm matting all of this, but the decorating will come after. So if you're using your 8.5 by 11 pad, it's 8.5 wide. I left it 8.5. You'll just want to cut it down to 9 7/8. If you're using your 12 by 12, well, you'll cut a piece that is 9 7/8 by 8.5. I need to do it from the back side. When I don't want a lot on the front, I do the back side. And then, oh, bunnies are going to be so cute. Okay, so you can get these put on, and I will be using the art glitter glue for this. That's why I want to do the front. I want to get the covers on because it gives me a nice flat surface to work on. Oh, that's why I just look at when I cut it down. That's the front. put my tape away. And it got stuck on my wipe. There we go. Now the back side. No, I decided on that. Oh, this is going to be so cute. I don't know how it's looking. I can kind of see it on camera. I'm really liking the brown with it. It's just different. Let's smooth this so the glue smooth. And, well, that's sitting quite nice. So I'll just get that now. It's the way it's sitting on my scoreboard. Edges are down. They are. I love this paper. So cute. Now let's do these edges. Don't want to mess with that too much. It smooths out when it opens. But it's just like our skin. It wrinkles when we when we move the wrong way. Cute with those hearts. Definitely. I'm happy with that. I don't like these. These are just some microscope cleaning cloths that I have. I'm still on the lookout for diaper wipes that don't have lint. Walmart used to have them, and they changed the formula or changed the material to. It really has a lot of lint. And then this is the Costco brand. It's not bad, but it's still not my favorite. I'll find one. I like the microscope wipes just for small jobs. So there's the beginning of our cover. And then we will be decorating the cover at the end, of course. So while we're at it, let's go ahead. Now, this inside part, really you can only do flat. Let me show you. We can only go flat. You can do a pocket, we can do some decorations, but we're going to go flat because you have magnets here. And your main purpose is that this is going to hold shut. You don't want it to open. So we need to pick out what we want to use. Sorry, everyone. Again, we just have to trim these down. That's what I like. This isn't really a black. It's so cool. Now we are going to have to cut the width. And I am going to go, I think, this way because I'm going to use the decorations definitely inside of this. In your 12 by 12 sheet, so if you did get 12 by 12, oh, that's one thing I should have pointed out. You do have the gold, whereas on the 8.5 by 11, we don't have the gold. So if you want to use some of your 12 by 12 sheets, if you did purchase the 12 by 12, you'll have this gold kind of color. Not gold kind of color. You will have the gold because that's what's on there. But it's on the back of a cut apart sheet. Then, of course, your bunnies have the gold. And then, what did we put on our cover? Yeah, they have. Let me show it to you. They do not. So we are good. We're good. We're good. So we know we need to cut these 9 7/8, but we're going to have to cut also the width. Now, these were the 1/2 inch shorter. Whoops. I want to get it right up to that edge. So I'm going to cut mine to 7 3/4 by 9 7/8. So I'll cut these both down. We're gonna just try this first. And yeah, it is a little bit too much. So let's go 7 5/8. Perfect. You know, it's not really black, so it looks really good with the brown, and the brown makes it look a little more brown. So, wow, that looks great. Let's go ahead and ink our edges. We'll put this down. And that will be the end of part 1. So you can get your cover all made. See the brown next to that black? I don't know if you can really see it. It looks really great because it's not a harsh black. I really like that. Well, we'll start with this side. Oh, I got a little too far down, but that's okay. We're going to be cutting a white border strip across that top. So all's not lost. Grab this can. Maybe we'll use that for the border at the top. You have two of those. I think we will. I think that'll look really good on both sides. And they match. Whole idea is that this looks like an old farmer's market. I have to be careful what I hit here, otherwise it turns my video off and then I lose it. There we go. So I'm going to have to kind of be at an angle here. So we need to remember the width of this is 7 5/8. We're going to cut those scraps. And you want to come, well, I'm going to cut mine on the same side. I want the sides to be mirror images, basically. Of each other, so that's why I may try to set this down a little bit more. Let's go all along that edge. I'll tell you what, there's nothing like the dry diaper wipes, though, for absorbing that glue. Works so much better than those microscope cloths because it just picks it right up. It's like a magnet. Remember that they have to be dry. So I'm just kind of going around my magnets here. Cute. Let's go ahead and cut these down. I'm going to cut this header off. Wish they hadn't done that. That would have been great to use, but I'm going to cut it across here. Now, I want to see one will be on one side, one will be on the other. These two will match. I'm going to cut it to 7 5/8 first. And I'll just cut that top off. And let's grab your favorite border punch. I like this one with it. Too many to choose from. So I want to cut the bottom, not the top, because that's going to go at the top, of course. One more. rid of that mess. Now I'll keep that handy since I'll be reusing it. When I don't want to get ink everywhere, I think I've mentioned this before, I just do the back side. And then it keeps the ink at the top and not all over my pattern paper. You also might want to leave that open if you want to use it for tucking at the top. Turned out pretty cute. Looks great. Camera stopped. I had to restart. So I left it for tucking. I left the bottom open so something could be slid up in there. Maybe some loose recipes. Just a little spot, but I did the glue, and I'll do it again on this one, on the 3 sides. So just on the sides and along the top. A little bit there so we don't have any tears. Oh, goodness, there we go. Oh, come on, no, no, no. Oh, no, no. There we go. All fixed. Okay, and we'll do more decorating down here. Cute. Don't you just love this paper? Okay, that's our cover. So watch for part 2, and that will be making of the insides of our cute little folio with Prima Farmhouse.